So today is going to be somewhat of a wrap-up episode for our League One campaign. We're going to be going through our end-of-season review, as we always do, as well as a look forward to, what we're going to need before we head into our first ever season in the Championship, because, oh boy, this could start to get very tough from here. And we also start to get some worrying offers in for some of our players. But yeah, let's just get into it. And so after a very successful season, we're going to start off this final episode of the 2029-30 season with our end-of-season review. Really nice to see 2 cups there. It's been a long time since we've won 2 trophies. We never won the FA trophy, did we? It's going back to the FA Vars in that case. Jeez, that is a while ago, because we didn't win the league last season. So yeah, going over the new arrivals for the season. I almost forgot Buster Barbrook came in last season, but he has been absolutely incredible this year. 28 goals in 29 starts, 12 sub-appearances. To be fair, a lot of his goals came in those sub-appearances, but I cannot complain at all with how he's performed. He got an A+ from the board, so even better. Dylan Munro got a B+. I feel like I've sort of done him a little bit dirty this season because he scored 16 in 15 starts, 20 sub-appearances. He has been more than good enough, but I think because Barbrook and O'Neill have been so dominant, I've just sort of pushed him to the back of my head a little bit. But saying that, he has also been probably my third choice striker the whole season anyway. I really expected that role to go to Cadamartri after we signed him, but that was not the case at all. And he's all the way down there. 8 goals, and he also had a pretty good return, thinking about it. Mark Bailey at right back obviously did very well as well, got him in from Chelsea. Joe Bellingham, he hasn't performed quite as well as I hoped he would, but his average is 7.19. He's only been here for half a season. He's got 7 assists, 4 goals, and I think all 4 of those might have been penalties, or at least 3 of them were. But he's going to be more than good enough to be a first teamer next season as well, realistically. Adam Robb at right back as well has been very good. Roger Wilson, mostly playing at left back. Shmuel Casanova has been an absolute revelation in that attacking midfielder role. I'm going to really miss him next season, although we are working on replacing him. No spoilers ahead of time. Played 41 games this season, 15 goals and 11 assists. Out of all the new signings, I am pretty sure he played the most, with the exception of, who was that? Stephen O'Connor also played 41 times. Bailey Cadamartri we've already touched on. He got a B-. He's not been as fantastic as he was last season, and I do think I slightly overpaid for him, but just to have his reliable presence coming off the bench has been a very good thing this season. He scored a lot of very crucial goals. Milan Bursek, I was expected to come in as a substitute goalkeeper and probably get 1 or 2 appearances, and he came in and absolutely bossed our back line. I don't think we lost in the league while he was our goalkeeper. We did finish the season incredibly strong. We'll see if we lost in our last 10 games, because I think that's what we had him for, because he had a few cup appearances as well. Mario Achinga was also very good. He wasn't quite as good as Casanova, but he had a bit more variety in positions he could play, and 31 appearances, 11 goals, 6 assists from essentially a midfielder position is more than good enough. Christy Wintersgill has been incredible, and probably going to be having him as at least a defensive option next season. Probably still a first teamer. He might not be as integral to our squad, but he will definitely still be in the squad. Anthony Galbraith from Tottenham, he hasn't really done he's another one that I feel like hasn't done a whole lot, but 12 goals, 9 assists, 26 games. I feel like the assists are a little bit misleading, because that was just basically whoever played with Barbrook or O'Neill was getting loads of assists, whereas if we scroll up, Barbrook only got 6 because he was normally the one doing the scoring. Derek Griffiths, he was very reliable at the back. He was probably one of our key centre-backs, him and Stephen O'Connor, which is a little worrying because they're both lone players. Obviously, Winterskill had to step in every now and again, but very glad to have both of those at the club. They both got an A+ rating. Eric Millington didn't play as much as I sort of expected him to, but he didn't really cost us anything, so I'm not going to complain at all there. Bailey Linwood was coming in as maybe a potential Foyer replacement, but mostly as, just a young player who's more than good enough for the squad, and he fulfilled that purpose very well. And Miles Peart-Harris was sort of the same again. He's definitely nowhere near as good as Bellingham when they got into the team at the same time. But by the time he actually signed for us, we'd found our rhythm at that point. But he'll definitely be around for next season, regardless. Transfers out, we'll have a quick look over who left. Kevin O'Neill, we are, the board are content for selling him much more than he's worth. We got 2.3 million for him. He's gone up to 11.5 to 17 mil since. But obviously we did get him back on loan for the season. Jimmy Cabway, we got a nice little bit of profit for, and pretty much everyone else was given away just to get them out the squad because they weren't playing. Talon Shepherd and Jack Morehouse kind of staples at the back for the last few seasons, especially Jack Morehouse has been very integral to our rise up through the league the last few years. Loans out, this is mostly just youth players and people that we don't need, so yeah, not too much to really go over here. We've got Mervyn Kidd, played decently out on loan and got some good appearances under his belt. And then Bakayoko and Nance Cavell both did very well, averaging over 7.0 for their respective clubs. A season to remember, and what a season it was. It's the first time we've seen the league table since we left off. And I mean, look at that end of the season. We finished the season incredibly comfortably. And if you do look at the league table, Southend United didn't go up in the end despite being promotion contenders with us for most of the season. Bolton ended up nicking the automatic promotion spot. And actually, Birmingham City went up in the league, which is very nice to see. Although there was one or two players of theirs I was looking to nick if they didn't manage to go up. So I'm a little disappointed with that. I will also say Southend United only actually got back into the playoffs on the last day of the season. They were down in 7th, which is just outside the playoffs, and then just about got in with something like, I'm going to check, it was like a 94th minute goal or something against Salford. Yeah, they won 6-5 in a complete battle of a game. Tyrese Forner scored in the 97th minute to get them back into the playoffs. Otherwise, they wouldn't have qualified. Or maybe they would have snuck in with a draw on goal difference as it all turned up. I don't know. But yeah, a very good average home attendance, 93% full. We should probably look at trying to expand the stadium. We just don't really have the money for it. First place in the league, 21 goals. Attendance and everything are pretty similar all round. Emirates FA Cup against Arsenal. Who happen to play at the Emirates. Do they still play at the Emirates? Yes, they do. And I never want to see that ground again. Everton actually beat Liverpool in the semi-final and Man City in the final in these games. I was sort of following their little run throughout the end of the season, and it was very impressive. But yeah, we had a massive step up in difficulty, and I feel like, that game still hurts. The Carabao Cup, we did worse in. I mean, we went out to Watford pretty comfortably. And then the Papa John's Trophy, we managed to, I want to say comfortably win. We got through Peterborough in the semi-final on penalties, and Barnsley was extra time, wasn't it? That was the last episode. I should really know that. But yeah, we got a win there. Kevin O'Neill was top scorer for us again. Moment to remember. A 7-0 victory over Crawley is always going to be fantastic. A 2-0 victory over Coventry is the match to remember. It's a bit of an odd one when we've got a 7-0 there. And the goal of the season was Kevin O'Neill's 22-yard strike, which curled past the goalkeeper. Let's watch this because I don't remember it, but it was very early in the season. So Edgerton got it through to Foyo. Yeah, comes to Kevin Hill there, and it's just a lovely placed effort into the top corner. Yeah, I don't feel like that description really did that justice, but we'll carry it on. Finances, we have not changed. Reputation, we've gone up a decent amount in sponsorship here. Sponsorship money, it doesn't show what we had last season, I suppose, because we've carried things forward. It did actually say at one point that some things in the season review might not be 100% loaded in because I've carried this save forward from 2023, but it should be generally working at least. So we can't compare this to what we had last season unless we want to get it up on the video, but it's not really that important. I'm just keeping an eye on our finances in general. Total merchandising sales, 125,000. That has gone up so much, and non-domestic sales amounted to 626 of this total. I mean, I remember the days when that was £1 we were getting from overseas, so even 626 seems pretty good to me. Bellingham, Barbrook, Pert Harris, Boyang and Achinga are the main shirt sellers there. That's quite surprising. I thought O'Neill would be in there, and I don't know why Pert Harris is in there. Maybe the fans just absolutely loved him. They were coming to get a Bellingham top at the same time when he was going to start playing, and just thought, let's pick up a Pert Harris one. We were obviously doing like a buy one, get one free option or something. The best 11 of the season, would I agree with this? I mean, I don't agree with this as a team because we need a ball-winning midfielder in there as Osman Foyo. But as far as best performing players, yeah, this definitely makes sense for how we would line up. Just some very consistent performers. Let's see the accolades. We managed to get 4 Manager of the Month awards and Manager of the Year, which was very nice to see. The Fans Player of the Year was Buster Barbrook, and Young Player signing of the season was Munro, which, yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Goal of the season, O'Neill. Most assist was Boyang. Most Player of the Match awards was Buster Barbrook. And most passes completed was Stephen O'Connor. The new records were Kevin O'Neill getting 5 goals in a match. That's not a new record, that's him equaling a record. Highest transfer fee bringing in Habib Razak Kahund, who shall be in our first team next season more than likely. And we did receive 2.3 million for Kevin O'Neill. Chelsea Town owed the promotion to Powering in the middle of the season. That really set them on their way. I mean, yes, we were definitely keeping track with Southend United throughout the season and we're in a good spot. It's definitely that end of season, sort of like 15 wins in 17 games or something like that. We were absolutely unstoppable. We actually set a record for the lowest draws ever in the Championship. I think we only drew 3 games all season. So that's kind of crazy. 2029, that's the last time we won that's our promotion. Okay, so it'll be here. So we've got 5 players for 325,000. We signed 2 more high rollers in Kahund and Pert Harris. We scored a memorable upset being Brighton under-21s. We hit our 400th game in charge. A memorable upset being Arsenal's under-21s. We got an improbable draw against Oxford when we were 3-0 down and brought back 3-3. I remember that game very well. Bellingham joined the club, and then we moved into this year where we were right at the death. We were right at the death against Swindon with a dramatic 92nd minute goal. It's weird that that gets its own news item. Then we got announced as being promoted. Kevin O'Neill's flurry of goals were remembered as we were crowned champions. We've got a couple more high potential players coming in. We haven't gone over these yet. I don't think that will be covered today, although they're probably not going to be anywhere near the first team for a while. Kevin O'Neill's 10 goals in the Papa John's Trophy gets a shout out. We do actually get a notable last minute goal pop up, where we won the Papa John's Trophy final in the 121st minute. We beat the whistle again to beat Shrewsbury late on in the season. Is it that important when we've already been promoted back here? 111 points was a new club record. It wasn't a record for points in a season, though. It must have been for points in a League One season or something, because I did check that out when we hit the total, and I felt like we were at 115 in one of the lower leagues, but that's obviously non-league football at that point. We got Manager of the Year, as I've mentioned, and a little spoiler for what we were going to go into next. We'll just finish this up. Bobby Clark has agreed to join us. 25-year-old attacking midfielder. I think he could very much pick up that in control. If we look at his stats here, he's pretty good across the board. It's saying he's on a level with like Danny Wing, Joe Bellingham, Atchinger, a bit worse than Bellingham and Atchinger actually. But he has been bouncing around the leagues a little bit. He was on loan in League Two last season, which is a little bit scary. But he was, he was at QPR the year before. He's obviously had his spell in the Premier League, started off at Liverpool. I do think he is going to be a very good signing for us. We've got a load of new staff signing, but we'll get to that shortly, like I said. We've got players inducted into overall best 11. I think Boyang is the only one that's actually nabbed a first team spot here. It's so hard to actually get anyone into the team because it's always so established, and then as you're moving up the leagues, you're getting rid of players before they can get to 150 odd appearances and so. And I'm still very annoyed that it's put Matty Lusaqueno as a centre back, who scored 86 goals in 79 games up front for us alongside Moncrief for a good chunk of that. But what we're going to do about it, it's not something we've got any control over. But yeah, transfers in. We have actually got quite a few confirmed deals for people that are going to be joining us in the coming weeks. The transfer window actually opens tomorrow, which is quite annoying because I wanted to get them in the squad, but I had to wait so I could record this end of season review with you. And there's going to be one name that everyone recognises who has followed my save since the early days. And I mean, he's not really going to get in the first team, but Kamal Moncrief is going to be joining the club again. He's only joining at something like £50 a week or £100 a week or something. It's essentially nothing, and he's going to be an emergency backup. But I keep looking at him and seeing him dropping lower down the leagues, and I am actually I think I'm still loading all the way down, yeah. I'm just getting rid of all of these because we're still loading them, and there's basically no need to load them. We are never going to be touching those leagues for players, realistically, at this point. But yeah, I sort of fantasised in the early days of, if we ever get to the Premier League, I'm going to give Kamal Moncrief one of the games when it doesn't really matter of the season. And now I'm going to be able to make that happen and not have to risk him basically just disappearing and retiring because he's not going to have a club that's going to be willing to accept him at that point. But I will say, he's still got that finishing and he hasn't quite got the acceleration anymore. But if you don't remember, he scored 80 goals for us in the first season of this save down in the 10th tier of English football. So I feel like I owe it to him as one of our club legends, is he? His icon. Lennon Wilden is on the way out to Newport County. Bobby Clark's joining, obviously we've been over him. Derlis Dolden is a 16-year-old centre midfielder, well, attacking midfielder. And he's not someone that I'm super excited about. I mean, his physicals are trash, but he is only 16. 6 acceleration and 6 strength. Strength not so much because that comes with age, but 6 acceleration is a little bit scary. But he's got everything on this side that you need, the technicals, 19 determination, decent work rate and vision. And for what we're paying him, which I think is almost nothing, it seemed like it was worth the gamble. 3 defenders coming in. We've already been over Mortal at least once at this point. Rodolfo Candia is a centre defender. He looks okay again. Still, physical's not great, but he's got pretty good mentals and pretty good technicals. Again, we're not really paying him much, so why not? And Hugo Rivieros is a right back with the same sort of thing. 15 tackling, 13 technique, good work rate and teamwork. He's actually been rated at 1.5 star for our team at only 6 years old, and still could improve a lot as potential. So while I don't think any of these are going to be bad signings, they're not going to be particularly impactful for a good while yet. I just hit continue once and this has reminded me. We are getting a scary amount of interest in our players. Pretty much everyone that played first team for us that has got a permanent contract with us has had a news story about them. There's been Edgerton, Wintergill, Foyo, Wing, Barbrook. It's still got... I can't, whenever they've got the holiday there, I can't be asked to check. Yeah, like Barbrook. I mean, it's just said that 13 clubs want him, and including, oh God, some Premier League teams, we're not going to let him go for 400k or whatever it is that they said. Achinga, some Premier League clubs want him, or at least Championship times. Foyo, Plymouth want him. Edgerton, Bristol, Ipswich, Plymouth, Preston. Bailey, there was Bristol, Cardiff, Millwall, Fleetwood. I mean, even like Adam Robb has got interest from Cambridge, Crewe and Tranmere. Nathan Hughes has still got his promise that we'll sell him if we get a bid of 950k. At the time, that was quite ridiculous, but now I think when you go here, oh, it's gone back to 425 now. It was saying up to $1 million at one point, and that was scaring me because if he, then people would be getting a bargain for him, which I think they are anyway. But he's still currently in my plans to be my main left back next season. Bit of a mixed reaction here to Kemar Moncrief signing. Angry at the signing of a player who looks surplus to requirements. It's £100 a week, by the way, and delighted to welcome an iconic player to the club. We're going to put you on your standard advanced training. But you're probably not going to be required at any point. Bobby Clark, welcome to the club. I'm just going to make sure I welcome you first. I want you to get the star treatment. Moncrief, I don't know, help the guy clean the boots or something. Welcome back. I'll be giving you a staff contract in a few years, mate, don't worry. And this is a little bit scary. I'm just going to check the others first. Barbrook, yeah, who do you want to improve? Right. Okay, Barbrook. These deals are nowhere near good enough. He might become unsettled if he's not allowed to speak to either Brentford, Leeds or Forest. So let's get rid of Charlton. But all the rest of them, let's persuade to stay. What's it going to take to keep you here? I need to play football in the Premier League at this stage of my career. It's not something that could realistically happen. I think maybe... Should I say we've got some good young players coming through because we have got a lot of good young talent. I'm not sure they'll be ready in one season, but we're obviously going to be signing quite a bit as well. Right, they're not offering enough for you. What's a reasonable amount? Fuck off. 700k. I'm thinking like 10 million. What's it going up to? 725. Busty, you're taking the piss here. 2 million. 775. Let's settle on 1 million. I'm sad we've not been able to come to an agreement. Oh, I suppose I'm just not going to be able to accept the deal then, am I? I am just going to stall all of those for now and we'll see what happens, but I am not selling him for this low amount. 300k is not enough for what is basically going to be our first choice striker going into the Championship. And Kieran Edgerton, Norwich want him. That's scary. So I'm going to reject everyone else. And we'll do the same with him. I want to test myself at the highest levels I can. I'm going to be significantly strengthening the... Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I should have said that. Maybe I should have said that to Barbrook. I'm just going to be significantly strengthening the squad and now he's completely fine to stay. That is fantastic news. We have got... Oh, God. Our scouting list is getting a little bit out of control. Who have we got on here? Jason Boyd. Ooh, Northern Irish player playing in the Northern Irish division, aren't they? Yeah. The Danske Bank Premiership. Yeah. He doesn't look terrible. Ooh, I might have to do a little bit of wheeling and dealing there. So anyway, yeah, I have got a lot to be getting through. We've got a lot of players to try and replace. Realistically, if we're looking at my squad, if I'm being brutally honest, I feel like this might work, although actually we do want a new first choice goalkeeper. So we've got a whole lot of the middle that I think we really need to sign. I mean, Bobby Clark could potentially be put there. He's definitely good enough for that role, but we definitely can't really just rely on Barbrook and Munro all season. So I'd like to bring another striker in. A ball with a midfielder. Foyo's been vital to us for so long, but he was our captain in the National League and we're going up to Championship and it's just a little bit wild that he is our worst player, I think, on paper, and he's still our captain and plays almost every game of the season. Centre-backs, we're going to have to look at doing something, being as both of our main centre-backs were on loan this season and we're looking to replace Darren Ombang. So this obviously isn't set in stone or anything, but looking at where we're currently sat, I mean, Edgerton will definitely be in around the squad. It depends who we can get in. I haven't really had much luck with looking at first teamers yet. I want the season to tick over so we'll be able to see what loans we're going to be able to get in, because once you bring the loans in and it increases the quality of your squad, you tend to be able to sign some better players. So if we can get some nice early loans in, I think that's going to help our case a lot. Winter's Gill could honestly be in either of these positions. It doesn't really matter. He will probably be at least very close to a first team, playing probably 25-30 games of the season at least, I would have thought, in one of those two spots. Ombang, as I said, Ombang is good, but I don't feel like he's championship good. It says he's a good League One player, and I sort of agree with that. Obviously, he hasn't conceded terribly huge amounts of goals, but there was a lot of times where he was just letting goals in that I don't feel like he should be letting in. Sometimes that's just a bit of form. I don't know. It can be a mixture of things, can't it? And I mean, I'm not definitely saying he won't be our first choice goalkeeper, but I'm definitely open to him being our sub goalkeeper. And then Clark is probably going to be Aaron Gonch. As it stands, he's going to be Aaron Gonch. He can play as a Mazzala. He's not really 100% suited to it, but sort of like a wing, Achinga, whatever. They can play anywhere in this general area, just not the defensive spot in the middle. So I'm probably going to look to get at least one more good player in for this area, depending on obviously who we get offers in for. And for striker role, I mean, we've got Munro, so Barbrook and Munro can do the job. I think Barbrook can definitely do the job, but Munro, I think, is good enough for this level. What does his report say? Good score at League One player. Okay, so he might be sort of reaching the point where he's struggling a bit, but he's got good dribbling finish and first touch. He's good. He's got good speed. He's agile. He's not really got anything wrong with him other than passing and work rate. So I would probably like to have Munro as my, super sub, bring him on late. He's got some good stats for that sort of thing, but have someone closer to Barbrook's quality to play alongside him, a la Kevin O'Neill, who we're not going to be able to get back. I have tried so many times to increase his loan length. Let's try one more time. They are still not interested. I'll pop that in there. I'm offering to pay them 10 grand a month for the honour. So I am going to crack on with some of the transfer window. I know we haven't been over a huge amount in this episode, but it's very much just let's have a catch up, let's fully assess the squad, and let's put a good team together ready to take on the championship. So I think I am going to go forward to when the season ticks over, which I think is at the end of June, and we'll wrap things up there with a look at where we're expected to be in the season preview. Okay, that took far longer than I thought it would. But yeah, we are expected to come 14th at the moment, and we haven't actually started signing people yet. So that's a little bit higher than I would have expected, considering we're a promoted club. Board expectations are a top half finish, which is a little bit scary. But also, Andre Onana is in goal for Wolves. Well, that looks like that's going to be fun going up against. Well, anyway, on that note, oh God, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, maybe leave a like or comment down below. It really does help out a great deal, and it means a hell of a lot to me as well. We'll be back next time for the opening game of the season, up against fellow promoted team Bolton Wanderers. Hopefully we've got a good amount of new additions before then. I think we've had one join so far, but my God, I've been fighting other teams off with a stick. And there might be a good few of our star players missing. Luckily, Barbrook turned down a contract to a Premier League side. So on that note, like I said, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our championship debut. And I will see you next time.